Saint Pope Marcellus I. Saint Pope Marcellus I, who served as the Bishop of Rome from 308 to 309 AD, played a significant role in the early Christian Church during a tumultuous period. While historical details about his life are somewhat limited, and certain aspects are clouded by the passage of time, his tenure as Pope occurred during a time of intense persecution of Christians under the Roman Emperor Maxentius. Marcellus I was born in Rome, and little is known about his early life and family background. He emerged as a prominent figure within the Christian community, and his dedication to the Church led to his election as the 30th Pope in 308 AD, succeeding Pope Marcellinus. One of the primary challenges Marcellus faced during his papacy was the hostile environment created by the Roman Emperor Maxentius. Maxentius, who ruled from 306 to 312 AD, was known for his persecution of Christians. This period marked a particularly challenging time for the Church as it faced external threats and internal divisions. During Marcellus's pontificate, the Church was grappling with the aftermath of the Diocletianic persecution, which had officially ended in 311 AD with the Edict of Toleration by Emperor Galerius. Despite this edict, the situation for Christians in Rome remained precarious due to the policies of Maxentius, who was hostile to the Christian community. One of the notable events during Marcellus's papacy was his refusal to recognize the validity of certain lapsi, Christians who had renounced their faith under duress during the period of persecution. Marcellus took a strong stance on the readmission of these individuals to the Church, arguing that their reconciliation required a rigorous process of penance and public repentance. This position, while grounded in the Church's commitment to doctrinal purity, also sparked internal controversies and opposition from some members of the Christian community. The conflict over the treatment of lapsi led to tension within the Church, and Marcellus faced opposition from a faction of the clergy who disagreed with his approach. This internal discord would later play a role in Marcellus's challenging papacy. The Roman Emperor Maxentius, who viewed the Christian community with suspicion, saw an opportunity to exploit the internal divisions within the Church. Maxentius issued an edict in 308 AD that demanded the return of confiscated Christian properties to their original owners. This move was likely an attempt to weaken the Christian community by stirring internal strife over property disputes. Marcellus resisted Maxentius's edict, refusing to comply with the emperor's orders. His steadfastness in the face of imperial pressure earned him the respect of many in the Christian community who admired his courage and commitment to the principles of the faith. However, it also intensified the hostilities between the Church and the Roman authorities. The conflict between Marcellus and Maxentius escalated, leading to the Pope's exile in 309 AD. Marcellus was banished from Rome, and the leadership of the Church temporarily fell into disarray. His exile marked a turbulent period for the Church in Rome as it navigated internal dissent, external threats, and the absence of its spiritual leader. During Marcellus's exile, the Church faced challenges in maintaining unity and coherence. The internal divisions that had emerged over the treatment of lapsi persisted, and the absence of the Pope exacerbated the situation. Additionally, the external pressures from the Roman authorities and the ongoing persecution of Christians added to the difficulties faced by the Christian community. While in exile, Marcellus maintained communication with the Roman clergy and faithful, offering guidance and encouragement. His letters and communications sought to address the challenges facing the Church and maintain a sense of unity among the believers. The circumstances of Marcellus's exile and the challenges faced by the Church in his absence led to a reconsideration of the Pope's position on the treatment of lapsi. The opposing faction within the clergy, which had criticized Marcellus's strict stance, gained influence in his absence. As a result, there was a shift in the Church's approach to the readmission of lapsi, with a more lenient policy adopted to foster reconciliation and unity. In 310 AD, Pope Marcellus I was allowed to return to Rome, marking the end of his exile. However, upon his return, he faced a changed ecclesiastical landscape. The internal dynamics of the Church had shifted during his absence, and the lenient approach to the lapsi issue, which had gained prominence in his absence, now prevailed. Marcellus's return was not a triumphant one, and the challenges that had plagued his papacy persisted. The internal divisions within the Church remained, and the Pope struggled to reconcile the differing factions. Additionally, the external threats from the Roman authorities continued to pose a significant challenge to the Christian community in Rome. Despite the difficulties, Marcellus continued to fulfill his pastoral duties and address the spiritual needs of the church. His efforts to restore unity within the church and strengthen its resilience in the face of persecution reflected his commitment to the well-being of the Christian community. The conflict with Emperor Maxentius, however, did not abate. The emperor, still hostile to the Christian faith, continued to exert pressure on the church. In 309 AD, Pope Marcellus I was arrested and subsequently martyred for his refusal to compromise his faith and allegiance to Christ. The exact circumstances of his martyrdom vary in historical accounts, with some sources suggesting that he died from harsh treatment in prison, while others indicate that he may have been executed. The martyrdom of Pope Marcellus I solidified his place in the annals of Christian history and elevated him to the status of a saint. The early Christian communities, inspired by his steadfastness in the face of persecution, venerated him as a martyr who had given his life for the faith. The memory of Saint Pope Marcellus I endured through the centuries, and he was recognized as a saint by the Catholic Church. His feast day is commemorated on January 16th, and he is often invoked as a patron saint against epilepsy. The Catacomb of St. Priscilla in Rome contains an ancient fresco depicting Pope Marcellus I, a testament to his enduring significance in the early Christian Church. In conclusion, the life of St. Pope Marcellus I is characterized by his unwavering commitment to the Christian faith during a challenging period of persecution under Emperor Maxentius. His papacy witnessed internal divisions within the church, particularly regarding the treatment of lapsi, and external threats from a hostile Roman government. Marcellus's exile, subsequent return, and eventual martyrdom underscore the complexities and challenges faced by the early Christian community in Rome. Despite the internal and external pressures, Marcellus's steadfastness in upholding the principles of the faith and his willingness to sacrifice his life for Christ left an indelible mark on the history of the Church, earning him a place among the revered saints of Christianity.